When you dig into wartime food history, you quickly realize that people didn't just make do. They created solutions so clever that many of them outperform what we buy today. Before we dive into the 9 World War II food swaps that work better than modern ingredients, let me hook you properly. If you're here on Legacy of Survival, you're already the kind of person who appreciates knowledge that isn't just interesting, but genuinely useful. So make sure you subscribe right now, because what you're about to hear will give you an entirely new way of looking at food, resourcefulness, and survival. Skills that matter whether you're a historian, a prepper, or just someone who respects human ingenuity. This isn't nostalgia. This is practical tested knowledge that helped people survive the hardest years of the 20th century. Now, let's get straight into the real value. Salted fat offered flavor and stability modern oils can't match. During the war, households didn't rely on flavorless, highly refined seed oils. They preserved fats by salting them or storing rendered lard in cool cellars, creating a cooking medium that lasted months without refrigeration. Because these fats were minimally processed, they carried intense flavor and a high smoke point. Today's seed oils break down quickly, oxidize easily, and lose flavor during refining. If you're into survival cooking, you can replicate the wartime method by rendering pork fat slowly over low heat, salting it lightly, and packing it into sterilized jars. Store it in a cool cabinet, and you suddenly have a stable, long-lasting fat source that performs better than many store-bought oils. Barley coffee replacements delivered richness without caffeine crashes. Coffee was rationed, and for many, unavailable. The European home front mastered roasted barley and chicory blends that tasted deeper and smoother than cheap instant coffee does today. These substitutes didn't just resemble coffee, some people preferred them because they didn't produce jitteriness and didn't rely on imports. Want to try it? Roast barley grains in a dry pan until dark brown but not burnt, grind them, and brew exactly as you would regular coffee. It creates a robust drink that holds its body even when served cold, a benefit many modern brews lose quickly. Wartime sour milk baking produced lighter bread than store-bought yeast does today. Fresh yeast wasn't guaranteed, so cooks relied on sour milk or homemade starters to leaven bread. The lactic acid in sour milk reacts with baking soda to create a lighter, airier crumb than many modern quick breads. The result is more digestible and richer in flavour. If you bake at home, try letting milk sour naturally on the counter for a day or two. Then combine 1 cup with half a teaspoon of baking soda in your dough. It produces a rise that rivals commercial yeast and gives you a dependable backup for emergencies or off-grid living. Potato starch thickened stews better than many box thickeners. Folks used grated potato water, or freshly made potato starch in place of cornstarch. Unlike cornstarch, potato starch doesn't break down under long cooking, so stews stayed thick and silky even when simmered for hours. You can recreate this by simply saving the water from boiled potatoes. Let it sit, pour off the top, and use the settled starch. It creates a glossy finish modern gravies often lack, and it works perfectly in low-resource cooking. Honey outperformed sugar as a preservative and sweetener. Sugar rations forced households to turn to honey, which didn't just sweeten food, it extended shelf life. Honey's antibacterial properties keep preserves stable longer than sugar alone can, and the flavour complexity is unmatched. Many wartime jam recipes actually taste better because honey intensifies the fruit. When preserving for long-term storage today, swap in 50 to 70% honey for sugar. The result is more shelf-stable and carries nutrients modern refined sugar completely lacks. Root vegetable purees replaced eggs in a way that modern substitutes struggle to match. During shortages, cooks used mashed pumpkin, carrots or potatoes to bind dough or batter in place of eggs. These vegetables added moisture, structure, and natural sweetness. Modern egg replacers often produce a rubbery texture, but wartime vegetable binders give baked goods better crumb and richness. If you're baking bread or cakes off-grid, mix 3 tablespoons of smooth pumpkin puree for every egg you replace. It provides structure without compromising the texture. Rendered bone broth delivered nutrients modern stock cubes don't come close to, you know. Bones were simmered for hours to produce a nutrient-rich broth loaded with collagen, minerals and fat. These days, cubes are mostly salt and artificial flavour, if we're honest. The wartime method produced stock that gelled when cooled, a real sign of proper nutrition. You can replicate this by simmering bones for, say, 12 to 24 hours with just a splash of vinegar. The result isn't just a soup base, it's a survival tool, providing minerals in a form your body absorbs quickly. Turnip bread extenders made loaves lighter and more nutritious than modern fillers ever could. With flour limited, folks mixed in grated turnips, parsnips, or rutabagas. Instead of diluting quality, these extenders created lighter, moister bread and added micronutrients along the way. You can do this today by grating 1 cup of raw turnip into your bread dough. The vegetable pretty much disappears into the bake, but improves texture dramatically, a technique professional bakers still use under different names. Fermented spreads replaced butter with a complex flavour that modern margarine just can't match, honestly. Butter shortages pushed families toward fermented seed or nut-based spreads, often made with ground sunflower seeds or soaked beans fermented overnight. These spreads developed a tangy, buttery depth without any artificial ingredients. If you want a modern version, just blend soaked sunflower seeds with a teaspoon of sour brine from pickles or sauerkraut and let it rest overnight. It creates a spread with far more character than margarine and keeps well even without refrigeration. These 9 World War II food swaps remind us that necessity didn't just breed invention. It created superior methods many of us have forgotten. If you value this kind of practical historical knowledge and want more deep dives into survival strategies that actually work, make sure you subscribe, share this video with another history buff, and keep building the legacy of survival with me.